Welcome to The Rundown, a GSPN podcast presented by Mighty Purple.
Howdy, sports fans, and welcome to The Rundown, a GSPN podcast brought to you by Mighty Purple here in Hagåtña, Guam. On today's show, we have Frank The Crank Camacho, and we'll talk about his latest UFC fights and his upcoming fights. And a little bit later on, we're going to have a special guest. His good buddy, Brandon The Truth Vera, will be calling in. We're going to be talking about fighting and fatherhood. How cool is that? Also, later on, we'll have some updates on high school sports and the IIAAG sports schedule. Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? What's the deal? Sports Director Robert Balahaja is here to give us the lowdown. And also with us is Roki Alcantara, the owner of Mighty Purple, always a supporter of local sports. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Bones around.
Making time to be here. Thank you guys.
But special guest right here is the one, the only Frank The Crank Camacho. Frank, thanks for joining us once again on GSPN.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bones around.
Always a pleasure to have Frank The Crank, a longtime friend of GSPN and really a part of the family here with us. And we're always happy to have you, win or lose, you're always down to talk to us, and that's what's special about you and makes you that special athlete. So thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's talk about, we'll cut to the chase and we'll talk about your last fight. When you did come back home, you and I spoke and it's something that you wanted to get off your chest and off your heart. You're coming off a loss. It was against Justin James, who was just on a couple of days' notice since your opponent pulled out, and you're at the losing end of a first round knockout on 41 seconds. What did you want to get off your chest and just kind of share with your fans and the people of the Marianas about that?
Well, thanks for rubbing it in, Pat. You have to say the
Right
time in the first round,
Right
Pat. Thanks, dude. I see
how close we are?
It's gonna get better.
And you have these two laughing at me. You know what I mean? No,
Just take them later.
Yeah. No. Man, it was. Now it's a couple weeks past and. It's all, I still think about it. It's a lot of lessons learned, but I think though, looking at it now, the whole experience has been an experience that I'll take on for the rest of my life. 4 weeks before June 20th, I got the call. Hey, you want to fight Matt Frivola? UFC Apex Center in Vegas. This is when COVID was real. It was still real tight. Travel restrictions were through the roof. And, the first off, traveling out to California and to Vegas around that time was real kind of iffy and kind of sketchy, flew into, first off, going into the airport here is empty, and then flying into Honolulu, all the shops were closed. It was a ghost town. The flight from Guam to Honolulu and I had a whole row of open seats, so I didn't need first class. I got to lay down in the whole middle seat. Got to Honolulu, all the restaurants were closed, so it was just very eerie. Got to LA, and I've never seen LA so empty before. LAX is one of the craziest and headaches of an airport, stateside, and it was empty. I got out of the airport within 15 minutes and was picked up and we went straight into training. We went to Vegas for 3 weeks, 3 weeks prior to the fight because a lot of my teammates from Team Oyama were fighting. And even at that, just seeing how Vegas, the strip was so empty, training at the gym was just very funky because no one was there. It was just it was very lonely, You're not your typical MMA experience of a gym. And then when you get to fight week, that was a whole nother experience with the UFC. Usually when you come in for fight week, you have media obligations, you have signing of posters, it's everything that you see in UFC embedded.
Yeah.
signing up posters, you're meeting everyone, you're seeing all the fighters. But this time they got a hotel. They booked like the whole Residence Inn, and that's where all like the UFC staff were staying. That's where all the UFC fighters and the corner were staying. So they were really quarantining us, you know. They tried to limit the amount of outside exposure. You had to get tested every day, and every day after your test, you get like a special lanyard. So we were kind of just like stuck in the hotel room, like felt like prison, honestly. You know what I mean? And everything was just very different. But, you know, but in fighting, you have to adapt on the fly, right? So that was just such a crazy experience. And then I had issues making weight, that fight. And then 2 days before the fight, I got a text message from my manager saying that Matt Frivola, my initial opponent, his cornerman tested positive for COVID, and they had to pull him. So I was like, oh shoot, okay. I mean, I'm just hoping, you know, we're all hoping like to get a replacement. They found a replacement guy, Justin James, I think they found him within hours, you know. Wow. What an opportunity for a guy.
He just lived in the Vegas area or
something?
Yeah,
he lived in Vegas. He lived in Vegas and happened to be managed by the same guy too. Wow. So Jason House in Iridium Sports. So I was just I was very happy, and I was very fortunate that we were still able to fight, you know. Man, such a crazy time to be such a crazy time to even do your job, because a lot of people don't even have their jobs no more, you know. Yeah. So just very blessed to be able to perform and to have that opportunity. And then just a very different environment in the UFC. You know, obviously, right? The fight happened and it turned out the way that it did. 40 some seconds, you know. You're saying 41, I'm saying 43. Okay. You know, 43 seconds.
We'll call it at 42. I want.
Okay, 42. So yeah, so 42 seconds. You know, he came in. He came in aggressive. You know, he had no camp. You know, and he was fighting a veteran myself, and he did what he needed to do, and he got the W. And hats off to Justin James. I'm so glad that he's a cool dude, great dude, father like myself, and he earned it. You know what I mean? Now it's just the uphill battle of getting myself together and getting myself refocused, because I have my next fight's going to be my last fight on my contract, and kind of up against the wall, you know what I mean? And kind of need to get this one down. You know, I shot a vlog with my wife. You just kind of like talking about the fight and my thoughts about the fight. And this is not the way I go out, you know what I mean? So just refining that focus, or discovering myself as a mixed martial artist and as a fighter, and just going out there and doing what I do best to secure that next contract, you know?
So as a fighter, my question with that is
thanks, bro. The granola. I'm not crying. It's the granola.
I know.
The granola. I'm not crying.
It's the good stuff.
We're having issues with.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you prepare so much for possibly a fight or whatever, and then this dude just gets that opportunity of a lifetime to step in, probably just running on adrenaline, you know, and flipping into his shoes. Do you think sometimes that's better than a long camp?
Oh, man, for sure, man. Like if I was in his shoes, kind of like what happened with
Masvidal. Or no?
No. It's kind of like happened with me during my debut. Like I took the fight I against Li Jingliang. He was a top welterweight, you know, back in Singapore. I took the fight on 10 days notice. Had no real camp. Wasn't really, you know, in good fight shape. But I was like, hey, man, you know, just the feeling of that euphoria feeling of, man, we're in the UFC. We're gonna do it. Ooh, I'm just even getting goosebumps thinking about it. And nothing to lose. Hey, it's my first fight. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to give it my all. Oh, man, I got 2 days. I'm fighting Frank Camacho. I'm going to give it my all, you know? And he did. He just came out swinging. And, you know, so me, like, assessing the fight, you know, post-knockout, right? Within 41 seconds. If just me thinking about how he would have fought that fight, that's the way he would have been able to win, you know, if I had taken it, you know. Here now I'm going through my mind, and as an athlete, as a competitor, the shoulda, the wouldas, the couldas. What happened if I had done this? What happened would I have done that? But yeah, he was going to come out aggressive and try to take me out early because he really had no real fight camp to prepare. You know what I mean? Maybe would he have gone 3 rounds? Maybe, we don't know, but that's the way I would have fought that fight against me.
Yeah. You guys have any other questions for Frank? I'm going to try and get Brandon on the other line here and line him up.
Well, so this is your last fight on your contract, or is there any talks after what happens then? I mean, we're saying you're gonna win, right? We're granting you're gonna win. Are you guaranteed a contract after that, or?
Oh, after. So I have one more fight on left on this contract.
Right. So win, lose, draw. They didn't say anything. No.
Usually, man, I'm not in a good standing right now. I'm coming off 2 losses. Sure. And 2 first-round losses, So it's kind of one of those things like, hey, man, Frank, as much as we like you, as much as whatever, you meet a cool dude or whatever. Hey, man, at the end of the day, bro, you got to go and you got to win fights. You know what I mean? And that's really how the sport is, and that's the way the sport should be.
And there's a revolving door here too, right? Like just constant talent coming in and out of the UFC, right? So it's like they need to make room sometimes for other fighters that are up and coming. But, hope that's not the case for you, bro. We definitely want to see you in the UFC for the long run. You're still a young dude, a lot of, still a lot of fight in you. You started very young, which is a true inspiration to a lot of the young MMA athletes out there. You got kids at 15 who are like, dude, I remember Frank the Crank, bro. My dad used to tell me about this kid. He was 14, 15, fighting in galvanized fence, Like, come on, dude, So definitely, bro, we wish you the best, and we want to see you there for as long as you can go. For sure. No,
man, thank you, and that's like thinking about all those things that you mentioned. It's like added reasoning. I don't really say motivation, but it's an added reason for me to continue. This pursuit. You know what I mean? This dream. I'm not 31, man. I'm not done yet.
Right.
Hey guys, we got Brandon on the other line. We're gonna take a quick break, but when we come back, we're gonna talk to Brandon, the Truth Vera, one of Frank's best friends, and we're talking the new daddy in town.
Kuya B, what's up?
Welcome to the hood. Fatherhood.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with Brandon and Frank. We'll talk about fighting and fatherhood. We'll be right back.
Guam's #1 source of acai and assortment of other local goods, the Mighty Purple Cafe is the only place to go in the heart of Vigania if you want that. Mighty Purple has worked together with GSPN to give you Sports Speak, which is now evolved into this, the very own Rundown podcast. So check out Rocky Alcantara and the team today at Agana, the heart of Guam, Mighty Purple Cafe. Stop by. Thank you for sponsoring Guam's, thank you for helping Guam Sports and assisting us in this podcast, The Rundown. They present the Rundown podcast to you every single month. New episodes monthly, available everywhere. So Mighty Purple Cafe, check them out. Bank of Guam, the people's bank. Bank of Guam has been a longtime sponsor of GSPN. Bank of Guam brings one of Guam's most anticipated running events, the EFIT 5K, every year, and they do it with an all-out festivity. If you've never been to one, it's quite the spectacle. Bank of Guam has been serving the island for over 45 years, and it remains a fixture for many in all their banking needs. Bank of Guam, thank you so much for supporting Guam Sports Network and Guam Sports.
Welcome back to the Rundown podcast of GSPN, brought to you by Mighty Purple. This segment is also brought to you by Bank of Guam. We have none other than Brandon, the Truth Vera, on the line with us. Thanks, B, for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Kuya Pat. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us on. Frank!
Yo.
So it's well documented, the history and friendship of Frank the Crank and Brandon, the Truth Vera, goes back many a day, and now here we are years later, and we have Brandon, pretty much a resident of Guam. First off, B, what I want to know, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know, and congratulations to your baby boy, huge congratulations to you and Ninja, but
thank you.
What was the mindset of having the pregnancy and the delivery on Guam? You could have done it in the States. You could have done it in the Philippines. Why on Guam?
It's kind of all-encompassing of everything, even what was announced today, We talked to our OBGYN over there, the doctor who's going to deliver our son, and he said that if we could get to Guam, or we could get to the province in Tabkawayan, where I'm from, that we should go. So we decided between Tagkawayan and Guam, we have a little farm here, so we bounced and came here. We only came with a book bag and I think, one carry-on. Sorry, but a small one that you put inside the plane. We thought we would be here for 30 days. Lo and behold, we had no idea we were going to end up having Atreyu here. Having Atreyu here was definitely unexpected, unplanned. I wanted him. I wanted my son to be born in the Philippines. But Guam, are you kidding me? This doesn't come second to anything. This is still number one in the world. So having a blessing in disguise, and man, I'm so glad that the staff took care of us at JMH the way they did. Thank you, Dr. Swina.
Yeah, once again, a huge congratulations. So it's still kind of fresh. Atreyu is what, a week or two old, right? How's
2 weeks, 2 days.
2 weeks and 2 days. Thank you for the correction. Tell us. I mean, it's still fresh for you. How has your life changed, my man?
It's the biggest change is our schedule. Our schedule before was that. It was exactly our schedule. We would wake up and go do things. We would train whenever we wanted. We had free reign. We were like free range chicken. Now Atreyu's in the mix. We're always on his schedule. So we try to fit everything we need to do in with him around his schedule.
The beauty of parenthood, man. Frank and Roki and I are all have these big smiles right here on the table, man, because we know exactly what you're talking about.
There too?
Yeah.
What's up, Kuya? How's it, my man?
What's up, bro?
What's up, B? Good to hear you, man. Welcome to the hood, Fatherhood.
That's cool. Thanks, guys.
Right on.
So you guys, you've been getting in a little bit of training with Frank over the last week. How refreshing is that?
Dude, it's so nice to be training with somebody of the same lineage and understanding of training, that when we finish training, we just sit there and smile and talk about dumb stuff after training like little kids on Christmas morning.
That's dope.
It's very, very refreshing. Very, very. Frank's mean. Look. Crank has all y'all fooled because he's always smiling and helping everybody.
He's smiling right now.
He is,
Dude, Frank's mean, bro.
I don't believe you, man. I do not believe you at all.
Well, he did make you do that video the other day. Yeah, was he bullying you to do that?
Dude, because Brandon,
I know.
Because by the way, those were pretty. That was a pretty cool clip. Yeah, man.
So B, because I went to his house and we're doing bag work, right? Usually I'll do 5-6 rounds of bag work by myself, and I'll be like, okay, whew, that was a good workout. Doing 5 rounds with Brandon, hearing him hit the bag, boom, 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 dude. By the 3rd, 4th round, we're looking at each other and we're like, yo, we got 2 more rounds, B. 2 more rounds, B. And then after, we'll just be sitting down he puts like these sheets down, and we're just pouring in sweat, And I was like, you know what, dude, this is what we do all the time. But you're freaking pretty good at freaking giving instruction, B. Can you shoot this video for me so that I could go and check it out? Because, he was going over elbows, and that is just one of the arsenals that he has, you know what I mean? And just the detail that he was sharing, I was like, yo, B, like, I know we do this all the time, whatever, but you gotta make a video, bro, because I need something to go back on and
I need to ask you guys this. Do you guys punch each other in the face?
He punches me in the face.
Damn.
We have actually.
Now that's friendship right there.
Let's practice staples tonight. How about staples tonight? Let's do that.
Oh no, you have to have that's a different type of friendship, man.
Yeah, no.
Listen, you guys are asking if we punch each other in the face. Crank asked me after we rolled one day, he was like, hey, next time we roll, can we put gloves on so we can punch each other? Told you, Crank's the instigator, yo.
And he said it with a smile, right?
Dude, smiling big.
Yeah, you know what trips me out is like just hearing the way we're talking, whatever, right? But it was so funny because I just kind of caught me off guard when Brandon was telling me about the elbows. He's like, yeah, when you hit, it's not really about power, and you just want to split their head open, so you just want to kind of graze them and pop the skin, and but like I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, dude, that's the way. And then it just kind of, I was like, whoa. Dude, this is what we really do, dude. This is what we do.
It's not hard at all. Just
thank you for the details.
Graze them.
It's like
just all these little details.
It's like going for a walk in the park, That's, Hey, listen, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we got some questions from our fans on Instagram that I'm gonna be sending out to you guys to answer.
Okay.
So just take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Whether it's a 4 for 4 or something more, Wendy's has what you're looking for. Wendy's Guam presents you the player of the game after each sporting event we cover. And although we haven't had many sporting events due to the pandemic, Wendy's has still been there showing their support. But fear not. We all know that the player of the game is the most sought after honor post-game. So we'll be back very soon to provide you more players of the game. So thank you, Wendy's, for supporting Guam Sports and GSPN. Pacific Tire, where the rubber meets the road. Pacific Tire has been a long supporter of GSPN and Guam Sports in general. They've done fun events like free giveaways through skill contests at the GSPN Basketball All-Star Game, and they continue to aid in the promotion of Guam's deserving athletes. Stop by Pacific Tire for all your automobile needs today. Community First, with 4 convenient locations to serve you at the DNA Building in Agana, their location in Tumuning, Harmon Loop Road, and Route 10 in Manila. Their mission is to provide members with financial solutions at competitive rates with convenient and personal services based on excellence and integrity. And the Community First Federal Credit Union has been a long-time supporter of GSPN, and we are forever grateful for their support. Thank you, Community First.
All right, welcome back to GSPN's The Rundown podcast right here in Mighty Purple in Hagåtña, Guam. This segment is also brought to you by Wendy's and Pacific Tire. We appreciate their continued support. So we got some questions from fans on Instagram for both Frank and Brandon. We'll go ahead and get to them real quick. And these fans are going to be interested to hear you guys on your answers. This one is coming from the real Juan Flores. His question is, did you guys have any high school wrestling experience? We'll start with you, Frank.
Unfortunately, in the CNMI, there's no option for high school wrestling, so that's one thing that I would love to somehow bring back, down the line in the CNMI, because dude, if wrestling is such a amazing instructor for not even just the sport itself, but just for life. It's like one of the hardest things that you ever do.
That's why I hear all the time.
And I just wish that if I was to play any high school sport, it would have been wrestling. And then I can't even say that you play wrestling. You know what I mean? You gotta go and you gotta wrestle.
Yeah.
So you wrestle wrestling. So I wish, but unfortunately, I never did. All my martial arts experiences come from MMA.
All right, B.
Oh, this is the guy right here, dude. Wrestling, talking to the wrestler.
I was very lucky. I grew up in a school district where it was the Granby system wrestling, and if you are a wrestler or you know anything about wrestling, that's one of the strongest foundations to have. And, I was in the school district. I started wrestling in middle school, high school. But during middle school and high school, I would help every year at summer camp, putting mats down, cleaning, whatever I did, so that I could actually take the camps and learn from guys traveling all over the world to come hang out for the summer in Virginia. So I was blessed, and I hated it at first. I was a fat kid, just trying to lose weight. My cousin was bullying me to wrestling, and man, I fell in love with it by the second or third year.
Cool. Nice story. Next question. We'll start with you, B. This is from Billy Fisherman. And this is actually has nothing to do with MMA or sports. It's, he's asking, what are some of the things that you wish for Micronesian people, whether it's education or business or anything like that? I thought that was an interesting question. And so we'll start with you, B. And what are some of the things that you wish for Micronesian people?
Brandon or
Brandon first?
Okay, Brandon first.
First, I would wish to help educate how much power the Micronesian people actually have, and what a world power, or at least a regional power, we could become if all of Micronesia stopped worrying about tourism and started worrying about developing our infrastructure to help feed the world. The weather here is the best weather in the world out of every place I've ever been. There's a couple places like it, but not like Guam. So I would for sure introduce agriculture hardcore into these islands. Are you kidding me?
Start exporting.
And then
100%.
I would try to bring back, I don't know,
Taro.
Micronesia is already doing a very, very good job of it, of preserving the culture, you know? And I know everyone's striving to do more, but I would make that a class in schools, make it part of the curriculum from when you're little all the way to when you're in college. There should be a class for it, you know? And those would be the two things that I would wish for Micronesia. Those are the two bigs.
Nice. Good
point,
stuff,
dude.
Frank.
Could you repeat the question?
What are some of the things that you wish for Micronesian people?
So, well, first and foremost, you know, to educate everyone, we're all Micronesian people, you know, and you know, when we refer to like outer island Micronesia, you know, then you can get into people from Chuuk, from FSM, you know, so all the Micronesian islands. What I wish for them is, dude, to come with like a freaking like a Micronesian top team, yo, like you play, yo, you know, you play basketball.
Top team,
Dude,
like
you
that.
play basketball. You know, I'm trying to package this a certain way, but dude, one of the most athletic guys are the freaking Chukis guys that are playing basketball. You know what I mean? Like, dude, these guys are like 5'4" and they can hang on the rim, and you're like, yo,
Yeah.
if you can structure a training program for these freaking guys, holy moly, you know, and not only just for the career path or just for the you know, just to make it into one championship, into the UFC, into Bellator, you know, these are like these are martial arts has saved my life, and it's taught me things, and it's continuing to teach me how to become a man, how to be a better father, how to be a better husband, you know, and just how to be a better citizen. And I think these are you know, through martial arts and through the athleticism a lot of these guys have, bro, we'll take over the freaking 125, 135, 145 pound division, you know, with the Micronesians, you know. So
For real.
I think I just wish that we continue this path, and we build programs so that we can enable and, you know, and give them power, just like how B was saying.
Nice. Good answers, guys. Next question is from Kaleo Gambala. We'll start with Frank first. This is an MMA question. How has training MMA changed your previous lifestyle? And what changes did you have to make to be successful in your sport?
You know, I've been training more than half my life already. So to remember how I was prior to MMA, if anything, what it did for me was it gave me something to do. You know, growing up in Saipan, it was after school. I mean, it's either gonna do sports or I'm just gonna go hang out with the boys, go to the beach and do drugs and drink a lot of beer, island style. You know what I mean? Just with the boys. Like, and what MMA did for me was it made me goal oriented, in the sense of going to the gym after school every day, having to listen to my mom and dad because they wouldn't let me go to the gym. They wouldn't drop me to the gym if I didn't have X amount of grades. You know what I mean? So it was something that made me goal oriented. And then during that, it forced me to learn discipline, the camaraderie with the team, respect, you know, all the things that come with martial arts and or with sports in general, you know, and it's continuing to develop me again, like as a man, as a husband, and as a father.
Nice. Good answer. B?
Man, like, I've been training since I was in the 6th grade.
Wow.
I was never into drinking. I was never into drugs. I was never into partying super hard, you know. If I was to party, it would probably be at once or twice a year. I'm an introvert, but I knew I wanted to do something big with my life. and being lost, not really knowing. I wasn't the Asian to have 5 degrees, be a doctor, and own a bunch of companies. I wasn't that kind of Asian. I ended up the Bruce Lee Asian, the one that decided that,
but you're one of the world's
competing,
biggest Filipinos, though. Like,
competing was the way for me, and
big dude.
seeing it, on TV and making the connection, like, hey, man, you might be able to do this. Maybe this is what you can do with your life. When that realization came to me, when it clicked, and when I finally decided that's what I was going to do with my life, oh my God, everything I've been doing since the 6th grade, not going out, playing video games, being an introvert, staying home, like all of that clicks with this lifestyle. So I got to find home for me. It was awesome. Martial arts, it made my dreams come true for sure.
Good stuff. We have a couple of more questions here. This one comes from Jesse Camacho. B, you can answer this first. His question is, would you guys open a gym on Guam for the people to learn your skills? Tough one, huh? Time permitting, probably not.
Listen,
Right.
I would open a gym on Guam. If the whole island sponsored it, I would teach for free and make it free for everyone, but it would be very limited and very selected.
Wow.
I don't want a salary. Yeah, it would just be a place. It would be like a Guam community, like a, what's it called? Like a
Yeah.
GCC?
Then we talked
Like
to the
a
governor
Guam
about
community
that.
Center?
Yes.
Yeah, it would turn into a community center, and we would turn it into a place where people would strive for higher learning, give people opportunities through martial arts, So it would be something that I wouldn't do. It'd have to be a whole island-wide, everyone involved, let's do this the right way type thing.
Amen. That's a great idea. Frank?
Yeah, what Brandon said.
All right.
No, and just to kind of like build off of that, it's something that, I mean, this is one of the only things that I know, and it's made a positive difference in my life and many other people's lives. And it's such a
lot of boys on the island.
Yeah, and it's a great structure. It's a great structure for kids to learn and to come up and becoming. So eventually, down the line, after my career is done, that's what we're going to be doing.
That's the purpose. That's the goal, man. Get back to the
Oh,
youth.
snaps.
Oh snap!
Oh yeah.
Job B. What job B?
I got a question.
Last couple of questions, guys. This one is specifically to Frank. This comes from SASA Productions. Okay. I think we're tracking there, right? What has been your most memorable UFC fight? Coming from your one and only wife.
Ooh. Man. Memorable. Wow, this is a very good question. I got 2. Now I'm just trying to juggle which I'll probably talk about the 2 if that's fine.
Sure, yeah.
Babe, is that fine?
They're tied.
Yeah.
First was my debut. Singapore. Never been to Singapore. Watching Brandon, coming up, and Brandon was one of the main reasons why I went to the States to train at the gym that we came from, and finally reaching a long time goal that I've had for 14 years. You know what I mean? And almost giving up all the trials and tribulations of life and the career, and finally making it to the UFC was probably one of the best accomplishments that I've ever done in my life. And it was kind of like whoa, we did it. Okay, whoa, we gotta continue on, And then my second most memorable fight, that's probably up there with my debut, was my fight with Jeff Neal. When I lost and I got head kicked, because first off, the guy was freaking skilled, dude. And I was like, holy shit, this guy's freaking fast, whatever. But everything after that fight made sense in that I needed to make adjustments, and it, you know what I mean? And it took for me to get kicked in the head to finally be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to listen to what everyone is saying, you know what I mean? But yeah. And if that never happened with Jeff Neal, I don't think, I would have made the adjustments that I need to make, that I'm currently on this path.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, B. Last question for you, and this is just specifically from you. And this one comes from an NENJA something. Yeah. Oh, Jessica Vera. Oh, okay.
All right.
So here's your final question, B. From all your experiences and interactions you've had throughout your life and international travels, if you had to give one piece of advice to your son, what would it be?
That is complex as hell, dude.
That is 2 weeks and 2 days.
Yeah. That's pretty.
I would tell him, no matter what, always protect the ones you're with and always be a good man. Above all that I've experienced, above everything that I've seen in my life, from the billionaires to the crazy parties to places that I can't even remember where I was at, to people that I've met, to stars and everybody, out of the whole world, I would ask him to be a good man and help and to protect his people. Always.
Well, thank you very much. I think that is a lesson in life that not only your son can take, but many of us can take as well, Mr. Vera. So
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate that. And you know what? We will end this conversation with you and Frank on that note. We think of you guys as brothers here at GSPN, and we always appreciate you guys just taking some time out to share your stories, to talk to us, to laugh with us, and to give us some real deep life experiences and letting us into your lives of MMA fighters and sports celebrities. So, but I look at you guys as my brothers, and that again goes back to the deepest parts of manhood. So once again, congratulations, Brandon, on fatherhood.
Woo! Thanks to the pack.
Yeah.
Good job.
And,
Thanks to the ropes. Thanks, Cranks. Quick, Cranks.
And we will definitely keep in touch. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about IIAAG. Is it going to happen? We don't know. But Robert Balahaja should have all the answers for us, at least an update. So we'll be right back.
Nestled right in the entrance of Tamuning, MFC Mariana's Finance provides bill consolidation loans, personal loans, home improvement loans, and loans for unexpected expenses and vacations. MFC is a proud sponsor of GSPN and the Photo Gallery. More than a handful of photos get taken at each sporting event, and you can find all the best shots from any of the games in the MFC Gallery below the story. So MFC Gallery, a big-time supporter of GSPN, MFC Photo Gallery on every post. Check it out. Excellent photos taken by GSPN's excellent photographers. Check it out. Foodies IP&E, where you can eat, drink, happy. Foodies Guam is also a proud sponsor of the social media sensation that is the Foodies Fun Facts. New episodes every other Sunday. Get to know a little more about Guam's athletes as they share some interesting facts about themselves outside of sport. GSPN is fueled by IP&E and Foodies, so stop by one of their 13 locations on island to fuel up as well. Thank you, Foodies and IP&E.
Hafaday, welcome back to the rundown here at Mighty Purple. We've got Roki. Thanks for hosting us once again. And Robbie, we're gonna break down this podcast, and we're gonna talk some footnotes with Robert Balahaja about some high school sports and other things concerning the IIAAG, and just the uncertainty of what's going on coming up here in the first quarter. Robbie?
Terry DeBold, president of the IIAAG, was supposed to join us today on the podcast. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it, so I got a whole bunch of notes that he was willing to share with us. The IIAAG just completed their meeting Wednesday, their latest meeting regarding high school sports. And before I present things that they talked about, new things, I want to recap really quickly what things they've decided over the course of the summer, which was they guaranteed that they are switching to a 3-seasonal sports calendar. So they've been trying to do that since IIAAG was under one umbrella with the public schools, but since they're on their own entity now, they want to go ahead with that plan to switch to seasonal sports. So starting this year, they're going to be trying to integrate in, or they're completely switching into seasonal sports. And the sports include fall, which is the first sport coming up, season coming up, is cross country, beach volleyball, girls volleyball, boys soccer, and bowling. So everything that was in the second quarter and first quarter is going to be played throughout the fall season. So of course that means longer times for each sport. The big change was bowling and golf. Bowling has been the facility and everything is set up so they can go right away into fall season when it starts, and golf has not been solidified yet, so they decided to switch that out. And then, which is the winter season, is going to be boys and girls basketball, golf, and tennis. And then the last seasonal sport, spring, is going to be girls beach volleyball, girls soccer, boys volleyball, and paddling. And those are the only sports the IIAAG is offering. They are not going to be offering some pretty big sports, which include softball, baseball, football, rugby, and wrestling. Those are huge sports. And that is, we'll talk about how they're going to be trying to work with ISA to get that done. But yeah, IIAAG is no longer offering those sports: softball, baseball, football, rugby, and wrestling. And their overall goal, President Terry DeBold said that his overall goal was to just have kids in the sport longer. And what he wanted to do was that a lot of times when when a lot of times when schools go from a quarter sports section, they go first quarter, and then first quarter is like on the tail end, maybe the final 2 weeks of that season or sports calendar schedule. It's already crossing into the other sport, and a lot of times that sport that's getting started is waiting for players to come in from that previous sport. So what they want to do is, when they're in season, their season doesn't start with games, it starts with training. So he wanted to make sure that whenever these fall, winter, and spring seasons start, it's not like they practicing and then once the season starts they get into the games. Once that season officially starts, there's going to be about a good 2 to 3 weeks of training, which is still included in the season, before the first actual game gets started. So they really wanted to minimize the effect of having kids trying to wait on sports, and they wanted to obviously stretch out the sports to a longer calendar, which is something that on a national level, it's just the standard. Everyone does it in the national level. We've grown accustomed to 4-quarter sports here on Guam, which is kind of our own thing, but IIAAG wants to switch that season. And unfortunately, because they do not have the representation to uphold a league that can hold softball, because when they join and play these softball rugby leagues, they are a third or less of the participation in those leagues. So because they're no longer part of ISA and they're separate, they have no reasons to hold those sports, because they're only going to have 2 or 3 teams at most, like football and stuff. So that was a big key issue for them. But he also wanted to stress that all of these can change at any time. They're working within the guidelines of the government, but it's any of this can change regarding how bad the COVID-19 cases get or what happens. So, but he did say for sure that there is going to be sports that are being played. It's going to be your standard limited. They're going to be limited interactions, meaning like, you're not going to have your crowds. There's going to be no fans in the games. And then they're also going to limit how interactions go on the court, meaning that you go on the court and play. And then after that, it's going to be very strict on, you can't go and spend time after the game with your friends or whatever. You have to respect the play. And that's their goal. They really want to stress that it's very important that they follow these restrictions and stuff to just get sports back. They really want to get sports back on Guam, and that just plays a big part of their goal. Something that came out of the meeting just this past weekend, a new thing, is that practice is going to be allowed to start next week, August 10th. So August 10th, they're allowing practice to start officially for the fall semester sports, for the fall season sports, and they're also their biggest question mark is DODEA right now, because as Guam is operating under the government, DODEA operates under a military schedule or whatever the military says. So there is possibilities that Dodea is going to be left in the wing, waiting on, not sure if they're going to be able to do it based on military restrictions and whatever the military has to say, give them the go or not. So Dodea is a big question mark. They're still not sure about that yet, but the biggest thing is they can start practicing soon. They really want to get back to sports, and they did plan out the schedule for the winter, spring, and fall seasons, and it's just a matter of whenever the government can, or whenever the crisis is going to let up and allow everyone to get back to normal.
Yeah, just Roki, you and I were talking prior to the podcast about all the uncertainties, all the effects that COVID has done, not only in the sports world but in the business world and just in life in general. And I think the only certainty is the uncertainty. It obviously there's this is a true reflection of what our sports community is trying to do. Unfortunately, there's we have to deal with this, and there's some major sports that looks like it's not going to happen this year, particularly baseball, football, and wrestling. Softball and rugby are included, and rugby's interest has gone off the charts over the last couple of years. So, it's going to be some tough times for our sports community this year. Yeah,
definitely speaking too as a high school athlete, I feel for these kids because they're never going to get these years back.
Right.
So I really feel bad, and it pains me to know that these kids don't deserve this, right? I mean, they only want to make memorable moments for the last years at least of their high school, right? Man, I'm thinking about all these sports that are not involved, like. What is FD going to do with their winning streak, or that's not important. What is important is the safety, right? But you just can't help but to feel for these kids because I got sons of my own. I don't want them to have to go through this. Unfortunately, they are, and everybody else. Everybody wants to see their kids play a sport in school and represent their own alma mater or whatever it may be. So yeah, definitely this uncertainty is really taking a toll on the community as a whole. Yeah.
Anything else, Robbie?
Yeah, to clarify really quickly, this is only the IIAAG side. ISA has their own plan in motion, which they're not going to announce yet. I mean, we have some information, but they're not official, and they want to wait till it is official, so we break it out. But one thing I did need to clarify also is that the sports that IIAAG are not offering, the baseball, softball, football, rugby, wrestling, that is still under ISA's umbrella, the public school. So that is a league that the IIAAG is saying you guys can still play those sports, but we can't offer it. So IIAAG is making calendar sports for what they can handle, and then whatever ISA comes out and says we're going to put out the schedule for this. So let's say football is maybe going to be moved to fourth quarter, third quarter, even as early as third quarter, but everyone's looking at it fourth quarter.
First quarter.
Yeah, it's usually first quarter. But so like sports like that, all the sports that they're offering, it really depends what how they shape their calendar. But IIAAG did make very clear, Terry DeBold wanted me to stress that because of all of the sports that's going to be going on, if they allow the kids to play every single sport per season without restrictions, meaning he can play in a IIAAG and ISA sport per season, they didn't want to do that because they based on how it would shape out, you could have a kid possibly play 5 or 6 sports an entire year. And for them, they were just like that. They didn't want that at all.
So what happens, ISA decides to have a football season. Can FD participate?
Yes, FD can participate, but if a kid is going to be playing football, whatever sport that football season is, whatever
which could be fall if he's saying third or fourth quarter. I mean fall, spring.
It could be spring.
Is on your, what does it say?
It is the third. Spring is beach volleyball, girls soccer, boys volleyball, and paddling.
So boys volleyball, he won't be able to play.
Yeah,
so that's fine. That's
or pick or choose, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be pick or choose. So whatever ISA is offering, they're allowed. The IIAAG are allowing their students to play.
Their students or their teams?
Or their teams. Sorry, their teams to play. Okay. They're just not able to play overlapping.
So FD will still have an opportunity to play, but in the ISA league.
Yeah, and it'll just take a lot of planning as far as
but still same competitors.
Yeah, you are going to be. You're definitely going to.
It makes sense.
You're definitely going to be taking away because if football and rugby are are being played with like I don't know, volleyball, or I don't know. You guys, everyone knows that some of the athletes overlap sports. There will be people taking away from other sports, but I think their overall goal was to just improve the level of play, improve the amount of games they play, and just have a longer season. So it allows these kids to just refine their skills in that sport as opposed to trying to play every single sport. And not that they can't be done. It's just their aim is to just match a national standard. You know, everyone in the States is just operating under the same umbrella. Everyone does the same thing. And then it's so different here that we send our Guam athletes from 4-quarter sports into seasonal sports, and the adjustments is a little off a lot of times. So I think their goal was to just
Yeah, so the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, is stay tuned to GSPN for the latest, because we're gonna try and keep you as updated as possible with the ongoings and the changes of both the IIAAG and the ISA. We are certain that Terry DeBoat and his team and Al Garrido and his team over at ISA are working feverishly to try and get sports going. So again, a lot of uncertainties, and there may be a drastic shift depending on the COVID-19 issues around our island, but stay safe, stay vigilant, and stay clean, because that's our number one priority. On that note, we are going to end this podcast. It was a wonderful podcast. Thank you, Roki, for having us.
Anytime.
Thank you to Frank the Crank. Thank you to Brandon the Truth Vera. Great podcast that we had this time, and we look forward to the next one next September. So on behalf of everyone at Mighty Purple and here at GuamSportsNetwork.com, we appreciate you spending time with us. Goodbye.
Hi, guys.